Homeseek, is it worth a buy? Let's read the words of the developer. Homeseek is a post-apocalyptic survival strategy game set on a dystopian resource-strapped Earth at the beginning of the next century. In a dried-up wasteland where water has become the new gold, every choice becomes life or death. With your guidance, survival just might be within reach. Yes, guys, this is basically a Frostpunk kind of game. Now, I loved Frostpunk. I can't wait for Frostpunk 2, but this just lacks what made Frostpunk so great. It's a bit like Survive the Aftermath as well, but again, not as good. It's one of them games that tries to be like other games, but it just ends up just not being as good. It has just come out of early access. It's fully released now, but I've been playing it today for a few hours, and I just can't get into it. I can't enjoy the game. I just can't really get me teeth into it. There's plenty of content here. It's single player and it's online PvP. And the single player content is quite vast. There's a good few hours to get out of this game. And there should be, because it's a £20 game. I got my copy free off the developer, so thanks for that. And the developer does seem quite good. He's addressing a lot of the problems that I've already come up with. The problem with the game is, it's not that it's brutal. It's a very brutal game, but I like it challenging a lot of the games that I play. It's just that this is one of them games at the moment, but I have read a post that they're going to kind of fix this. But at the minute, as it stands today, there's just one kind of way to play, and if you don't play it that way, then, well, you're going to die, and it's going to be game over. There's very little room for manoeuvring in this. You kind of, for example, in the very first scenario that I did, there's only one place on the tiny little map where you can put your farm. There's no sort of way you can just set up a bespoke kind of base. You've kind of got to put everything where it goes. There's a couple of buildings you can put where you want, and I'm not too keen on that idea, because you have to interconnect a lot of the buildings. For example, the farm has to be connected to the water storage has to be connected to the well, and the farm then has to connect to a food storage area. The berry bushes have to be connected to a food storage area, and yet you never see anybody out collecting berries, farming the fields. It's just, there might as well not be people in the game. There are people in the game. You see them walking around now and then, but they may as well not be there. They serve absolutely no purpose. I much prefer these type of games where you would just simply put down a storage area. People would go from the storage area to the berry bush, to the farm, and just automatically collect the food because it's there. You wouldn't have to tell them to. And they would then bring it back to, like settlers, for example, the early settlers. But with this, it kind of felt like a mobile game. I hate using that word when it's on a PC, but it just felt all kind of right. You're just going to put that there, that there, that there, that there, that there, that there. People aren't even, going to be visible, and the food will automatically, it's just like numbers going up at the top of the screen because you put them buildings there. And if you don't put the buildings down in the right order, you're going to be in big trouble. It's kind of like, do it this way or you're out. A good example of this is in the first mission. If you don't get your expeditions, it has expeditions where you go out and get new tech to build the said farm and other things like that. If you don't get your expedition out within the first probably 3 days, you're going to fail. You're going to fail the actual mission because you're going to run out of food and water. Resources are so rare in this game, and so you have to do everything in the right order or you're in trouble. It needs loosening up a lot, this game, in my opinion, to make it more enjoyable. I don't like being forced into a build route and learning by error which buildings to put down and in what order. It just kind of, it's too linear for me. I like a bit of free range to build and just to take me time a little bit more. This is just too punishing for me. It felt frustrating. We play games to have fun, not to be frustrated, and this just kept frustrating me, and it made me lose interest. The expeditions are fun. I always quite like expeditions in games. You equip a little team with food, water and scrap. They're the 3 resources in the game, and you send them out onto the map to one of the places that you've discovered. While they're out on the map, they'll discover more places, and when they arrive there, you'll be hit with a series of little incidents that happen, and you have to make the right choice or you'll be in trouble. If you make the right choice, you'll be rewarded with probably a blueprint to research or more food and water, which is invaluable. Or maybe you'll find some other people and bring them back to your base. As the game progresses, you will end up finding new lands where you can build your base. That's how you get from one chapter to the next, because this game is set in different chapters, chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So you look for and find eventually your next part of the game, and that's how you actually progress. But overall, the game just felt too linear for me, and that's why I couldn't really get into it to enjoy it. I'm not alone in this. There's a lot of posts about this kind of stuff on the forums, and I think what it comes down to, it's not a sort of a get good thing. It's more of a what floats your boat thing. I do like a little bit of relaxation and just enjoyment in watching everything thrive, knowing that you built all this thing up from nothing, especially when there's threats out there like bandits or whatever it is in the game that you're playing. It's nice. It's good to overcome these things. What I don't like is the frustration, and fun is the opposite of frustration. You have enough frustration in life to not come into a game and become constantly hit with brick walls of frustration, and that's what put me off this game. So it's not for me. It's not a bad game, but it's going to be a Marmite game. You'll either love it or you'll hate it. I just kind of don't like it at all. So I'm going to give it a middle thumb, purely because, you know, I know it's a decent game. It's got decent mechanics in there, and a lot of people are going to love the brutality of this game. It's just not for me.